Hey everybody, welcome to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. I'm your girl Jessimae Peluso. I've spent the entire day doing psilocybin and a little bit of marijuana. We got Carlin up in the background saying hello as well, and we're all happy and thriving. I slept for 10 hours last night, and I feel almost renewed. We get into it on this episode. This episode is brought to you by Not Giving a Fuck, from the makers of What the Fuck Happened. If you want to watch the video, you know what to do. Go over to the YouTube page, youtube.com/JessimaePeluso to enjoy the video and watch my facha in 4D. Or is it 4HD? No, 4D is the thing, right? I don't know. Anywho, if you want to watch the video, go over to youtube.com/JessimaePeluso. You can watch it in all sorts of Ds. And if you guys would like to be a part of the Patreon, we've got a Patreon page, patreon.com/JessimaePeluso to join the fan club. Thank you guys so much. Please review the pod if you have time. If it wouldn't be too much to ask for you guys to leave a review. We appreciate your listenership every week. You guys are fucking awesome. I have the greatest fans on earth, and I'm happy to bring you episodes every week. I hope you guys are enjoying. If you have any suggestions, would like to send some questions or get advice, JessimaePelusoComedy@gmail.com. And without further ado, this episode features the one, the only, the OG podcast host of the Sharp Tongue Podcast, Jessimae Peluso. Sharp Tongue Podcast. Beep, 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 beep. You're listening to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. I'm your host, Jessimae Peluso. It's a personal look. Well, it's not really a look because it's a podcast. I'm already fucking this up. This is kind of like a verbal comedy diary, a deep look into the crevices of my mind. It's gonna get dirty. You might cry. You'll probably laugh. Hopefully you'll laugh. The whole point is for you to laugh, but you also might cry. I talk about my family. I talk about farts. I talk about love, loss, comedy, how hard it is to make it in this biz. I'm a fucking professional. Each week it's something different. Sometimes I have a guest host. Sometimes it's gonna be a movie companion episode. Sometimes I just ramble about the bullshit I dealt with the week before. You never know what you're gonna get. It's raw, uncut, and funny. It's me. Hey everybody. What is going on? We are back. I just got back from, where the fuck was I? Plano, Texas. I was doing shows. Do I hear? I feel like I hear classical music. No, okay. I am on a little microdose of psilocybin, so this should be fun. I also just had a little bit of the marijuana because it is sober October for me. No alcohol. Oh, I can't even say the word without stuttering. No alcohol. I haven't had any for a week. This past weekend was the first time, maybe the second time, but first time that I have excuse me guys, haven't had alcohol while I was doing shows. Pretty big deal. Big deal. We're gonna get into that. It's a sober October for me, but we just got back from Plano, Texas. Thank you for everybody who came out to the shows. We were at the House of Comedy. We had a blast. The Texas State Fair was going on. I was really sad that I didn't get to go to the Texas State Fair. I feel like that was a real oversight for Clea and I. Clea was my opener, Clea McNeil, who's been going on the road with me lately. We've been having so much fun. She makes me laugh so hard. She is a nutcase like I am, so I feel like I am getting some sort of maybe retribution for the way I was and the way I am to people. It feels nice to be around somebody who is as crazy as I am and goofy and fun. So we had a great time. We had a night where we had a challenging evening where a group of women decided to be rather rude. Chit-chatty Cathys. I don't understand that. I don't understand why you come to a comedy show just to talk so loud. There was 3 girls and a gentleman, I believe. And look, I get it. You want to go out and have a good time. You're drinking, you've worked hard. You might even be going through some really crazy life changes. You might even be going through something really brutal. And I can relate to all of that. But it's fucking rude to talk incessantly. And she was spoken to. She was rude during my openers act. She was rude during a guest set. We had a guest set from Dicey, who's hilarious. And talking during Kalia's set. And by the time I got up there, I wasn't having it. Now, if you've come to a show and have seen me perform, you know that I'm likable. And that's not something that I'm trying to be. I'm a relatively likable human being. And because of that, I have an amazing group of fans. It spans all age groups. I mean, not all age groups. I don't have 8-year-olds coming to the show. They should. They can learn early. I love my fans. They're fucking awesome. But this past weekend, this girl really tested me. And I've never kicked anybody out of a show. I think one time we had someone get kicked out of a show, and it was a woman. And I got to be honest, most of the time that someone's heckling, it's a woman. And not someone who identifies as a woman. A female-born human being is the one that likes to open their fucking mouths after they've had some margaritas. Oh, I gotta work so we can have a fucking Friday margarita. Shut the fuck up, is what I have to say. And you know where it stems from? I truly believe, because all I do is observe human behavior. It's what I did as a little tot. It's what I do as a grown thought. From tot to thought. There's a new show for TLC. I really think it comes from a place of someone who has some unhealed issues. I think it comes from somebody who needs attention, who has to be the center of attention, who likes to cause drama. And I think it comes from, a little bit of neglect. People who are dramatic or passive aggressive or create little dramas usually are coming from an unhealthy household. I mean, how many of us came from a healthy household? Let's be real. My mom moved the neighbor's dad in, and he's still there. Fucking love Steve. But most of us haven't really come from a healthy household. And even if you do, there's still going to be some issues. It's a tricky thing. Parenting is a tricky thing. I'm adjusting myself if you guys are watching this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get comfortable. Parenting's a tricky thing. So you got to be mindful when you parent, because you don't want to raise a cunt. And once in a while, a cunt slips through the doors and raises her cunty mouth and doesn't stop talking. And we had to kick her out. I didn't want to kick her out. I'm okay with dealing with it because it happens so infrequently, and I know where it comes from, that I usually can manage. And it's not that I don't mind managing. It's really disruptive. It disrupts the flow of the show. It fucks up the comedians, and it's disrupting people who have spent time getting ready, who've spent money on babysitters and driving their cars, making a plan to come out and hang out with us. You're just ruining someone's night. So I had to kind of let this girl know. I had to let her know that I know who she is. I know why she was disruptive. I know the type of life she came from, and that I loved her. I just told her I fucking loved her. I love you, sis. I love you, sis, but it looks like you have to go. Because after disrupting so many times, we've got to ask you to fucking leave. And I wish her well. She just was really talked back a lot. At my host, she said, you don't talk enough. And he's like, I have a microphone. What are you saying? She wasn't really making sense. So I hope that she gets the balance that she needs to not be a disruptive human being through life, because it makes me sad for her. But we did have a blast in Texas. I think I need to go to places that in my mind represent, I need to go to places that look like what my expectations are in my mind. Because when I think of Texas, I think of cowboy boots and tumbleweeds and horses and that noise playing in the background. Not once in all of my travels to Texas have I come across either of those or any of those things. I did see a few fellas in the airport. Cute little cowboy hat, cowboy boots, but it still feels like a costume to me. I need to see that. Like I need to see a man wearing that outfit on a ranch. So I think I need to perform in a barn. If anyone knows any of these places in Texas where there are just rodeos and real cowboys, please let me know. Email me, JessimaePelusoComedy@gmail.com. Tell me where I can find these men. Because when I go to Texas and I'm performing in a strip mall, it feels wrong. Okay, look, I will go to a mall. I will take an edible and try on outfits. It's not beyond me to do that sort of thing. You know, I enjoy it. I went and got massages this past weekend. Shout out to Spa Habitat in the Legacy Shops in Plano, Texas. I also bought a new shirt, a new stage shirt, which I'm very excited about. But I need some tumbleweed and I need some cowboys on horseback. Or I'm just going to be eternally disappointed. And you can't do that to me. I'm the eternal optimist. You can't disappoint me. It's rude. It's really rude. I don't appreciate it one fucking bit. I should let you guys know. I should let you know early on. Maybe I did in the intro that this is going to be just an OG episode. We're going to do some Carpe DMs. We are going to do some fan emails and maybe check and see if we have some calls. I told you last week that I was going to tell you about some reflections on my birthday weekend in Joshua Tree. I also want to tell you I've gone on a couple dates. Now, I did say I'm going to be celibate for a year, and I'm sticking to that for as long as I can, so help me God. Help. I'm in my prime. I just turned 40 and I am in my fucking prime and I'm deciding to shut down the vagina factory now. It's a challenge and it's uncomfortable and that's the only place you grow. You don't grow when you're comfortable. So I like to put myself in uncomfortable scenarios as often as possible so I can learn for myself and, you know, rejuvenate the Jew. The little vajuju. We're going to rejuvenate her. So I'm still going out on dates. And I went out on a date with a fella and I left taco night at my neighbor's house for this date. Now, you know, I'm committed to something if I leave a taco night anywhere, let alone right next door to my damn house. You mean I don't have to get into the car? You mean I can wear my house slippers and no bra and stuff my face with tacos? I'm fucking coming over. Left taco night because essentially I am looking for a soulmate. I do think that we can experience multiple soulmates in a lifetime, spanning an array of relationships from platonic to romantic. And I already have soulmates in my life. My cousin's my soulmate. My friend Natalie's my soulmate. My sister's my soulmate. And I think that you can have soulmates that serve an era for your life. You know, I do think that the men that I have been in relationships with were my soulmates at that time. And that's my idea about it. I don't think that there's one person for you. I think there's many people for you. And there could be just one. We've heard stories of people, and I'm sure you guys know people or have people in your family who have been together for years. And they are each other's soulmate. I think it exists in many different ways, in different realms, and manifests itself in many realms of your life. And I don't think, I'm not glued to the idea that there's one person, but I am looking for my next soulmate. So with that, for myself comes some restrictions, and that's why I'm pulling back. No casual sex, being very intentional and mindful about who's in my space and what energy I am surrounding myself with in my internal circle, in my immediate circle, so that I am staying as healthy as possible and becoming the type of person that I want to become and the type of person I want to show up in a relationship as. So I'm still going out on dates because you never know. And I went out on a date with this guy, and I gotta say, you know, photos can tell a different story. Your profile, your dating profile should tell the truth. Let's start there. I say this as I'm remembering a gentleman coming up to me after my show in Plano, Texas, being a little triggered because I have a joke about guys being 5'9". No offense to guys being 5'9". It's just that the Tinder swindler was 5'9". I think. Probably just say that for my joke, but I'm pretty sure the Tinder swindler was 5'9", and that's what my joke is about. Anywho, this gentleman comes up after my show, and he's like, "Hey, what's wrong with dudes that are 5'9"? And I'm like, "Bro, it's fine. Nothing wrong with you. You're fine. Be a good person. Say what you mean and mean what you say, and be intentional. You'll be fine. Doesn't matter if you're 5'9". He's like, "Well, I say I'm 5'10" on my dating profile." And I'm like, No. Don't tell me lies. I don't want your lies. You can't start anything meaningful on a bed of lies. So you have to be fucking honest. He's like, "Well, I'm 5'9" and 3/4". Okay, fucking put 5'9" and 3/4, but you're not 5'10". Okay, we're not taking a measurement with you putting a slip in your shoe, a heel slip, okay? Robert Downey Jr., fucking put your heels on the floor and your head up against the wall, and we'll get the pencil and we'll etch it on the threshold of the doorway. That's your truth. Quit lying on your dating profiles. It's only going to hurt you down the road. And it's also a testament to who you are as a human being. And also, it tells me that you don't think you're good enough as you are, that you need to be taller. Maybe it really is bad out there for a pimp, because girls are size queens, not just referring to a dick. I have requirements. I like tall men. I like emotionally available men. And if there's a short guy who's emotionally available, I'm going to be perplexed. It's going to be difficult for me. I'm not saying you aren't in the running. I'm saying don't lie on your dating profile. This guy was not trying to date me. He just was saying that on his profile, like, "Oh, okay, I'll put 5'10". No, you can't start anything on a lie. It's so important for you to be truthful as you can. Now, as a woman, it's different. We can't put too much information out there because we're vulnerable. Hello, Tinder swindler. And for me, I'm a little bit more vulnerable because I'm in the public eye. As much as I don't want to reiterate that over and over, it's a truth I need to be mindful of, you know? And it's something that I need to consider when I'm out in the dating world. And so for that reason, I don't on my profile say what I do. Here I am telling you not to say you're 5'9". I'm omitting information that you will eventually get. I put my height. I think it has height for women, right? I think it has height for everybody, which is strange. Obviously, it's an important factor. Why don't they put shoe size? Why don't they put how long your clit is? Like, why don't they, put other details in there? Your eye color. It's an interesting detail to have on there. And now I got to check my dating sites to see if that's just something that is standard. I'm going to go on my Bumble and look. I feel like it is. I feel like when you swipe, you see their heights. Yeah, basics. So you put your height, how much you work out, and your astrological sign. No wonder our relationships are failing. We're focusing on all the wrong shit. Our attributes, our physical attributes, obviously are very important for various reasons. For reasons of genetic compatibility and for reasons of compensation for where our genetics aren't necessarily strongest in certain categories. You guys can compensate for that. but that still falls under genetic compatibility. It's so wild how much of someone's physical appearance can determine if we're even going to open our mouth and talk to you. So that's why I think online dating is a little tricky. It's tricky because it's a little dangerous for women. We're a little bit more vulnerable, but also it takes away like that initial physical reveal, seeing somebody's physicality and meeting somebody in the world. I really miss that. And so I am practicing getting used to that by going out on these dates. And I'm also putting myself out there at farmers markets. You know, I was batting my eyelashes at this dude who had the kefir stand. He had yogurt drinks, and I'm lactose intolerant, and I walked my way over there. And I was like, oh, I love yogurt. And my asshole literally is like, no, we don't. My butt is like, what are you doing? Don't, please don't. My butt's like, please, you're going to neglect me. This is abuse. All because I thought the guy at the kefir stand was hot. Well, you know, we all have standards and we all have needs. I bought 3 bottles of kefir yogurt. I haven't had it in so long. It's really good for you. The probiotics are amazing, but you know, rumble, toil and trouble in your gut. And that's the toll for love. Looking for my soulmate at the farmer's market. So back to these dates. I went on a couple Bumble dates. And the one guy walked in, and I truly believe in chemistry for myself being instantaneous or not there at all. And this was the latter. There was no chemistry whatsoever. I didn't feel like I wanted to give him a ticket to my vagina monologues. I didn't feel like I wanted to introduce him to my parents, even though they're dead. I didn't feel like I wanted to make babies with this person. All those things for me happened pretty instantaneous, and nothing was happening there for me. Nothing against him. It's vibes, babe. It's all vibes, and you got to pay attention to the vibes. It's important to pay attention to the vibes. Good, bad, unsure, all the vibes. You have to pay attention to all the vibes. And even the most subliminal ones, those might be even more important than the more obvious ones. I think the subliminal ones are more important because those are the ones that we miss because we're excited or because we're not paying attention, because we're drunk. We miss a lot of the signs, red flags, bad vibes because of all of those things. We're not really focusing on what is in front of us. We're focusing on what could be in front of us. So many times we fall in love with someone's potential, or we're attracted to someone's potential instead of who they actually are. Accept people as they are. I love that saying. Meet people where they're at, because you can leave them there if it doesn't serve you. So I'm going out on dates to practice that for myself, and to practice dating and being somewhat physically conservative. You know, I've been boning for a while, and I feel like I want to put a little pause in it. I've done this before, where I've done about 1.5 years of celibacy. I want to say about within the past 10 years. And it was great. I can't wait to do pottery. As the police and fire trucks are coming, I'm like, celibacy is great. I'm on fire. This girl is on fire. I honestly am looking forward to knitting, to reading, more quiet time, hanging out with my friends, getting back to my goofiness, all of that, and doing this while I'm dating. So this guy comes in, we have no chemistry, and he orders a shot and a beer. I'm not judging at all. I am not in the mindset to get drunk while I meet somebody. I don't even really get drunk in life. Yes, I microdose on psilocybin for a handful of the days out of the week, half the week. Yes, I take edibles, and I enjoy cannabis. All of that I use medicinally. All of that I use in a way that it is helping me be more productive, helping me rest, helping me be able to access my emotions and journal, and it helps me get in touch with my femininity. That's how I use psilocybin in cannabis. On a date, I have no desire to be wasted. That was for my 20s. I'm not looking to blast shots and suck your dick. That's not going to happen. That's not happening. And it's nothing against if that's what guys want. They just want to get wasted and have sex. Go ahead. Life is short. Enjoy that shit. Do it. Go do it and have a good time. Not me. Not now. Not never. Whose floor is this? If you know the video, you know. If you know, you know. One of the first viral videos on YouTube. Anywho, he proceeds to... Ooh, I almost got a good back crack. Hold on. He proceeds to do a shot and have a beer. And I thought it was odd. And right there, I felt us meeting at different places because I'm literally doing Sober October. Haven't had a drop of alcohol in over a week. Definitely had to practice restraint over the weekend because it is habitual to have a shot of tequila and a beer before I go on stage. Not every night, not every show, but it's not uncommon for me to do that. And ever since working with Dr. Daniel Amen and getting a scan of my brain and understanding more about how my brain works and the higher productivity levels associated with my different rituals and routine, I have decided to step away from alcohol and to really give it a shot, to not have alcohol at all for a month, maybe even longer, and see where I'm at. So him and I are already meeting at different places if this guy's blasting a shot of tequila and having a beer. And he had 2 or 3 rounds. And if you need alcohol to lubricate yourself enough so that you're able to communicate and connect with people, there's a deeper underlying issue. Alcohol is not a connectivity tool. It's a numbing drug. And I have done it in the past where I have needed alcohol to hang out, or alcohol in social situations and in social events. And sometimes marijuana I even use and have it be something that opens me up. But alcohol is just a different beast. It brings out the demons. Alcohol brings out the demons, and marijuana makes you talk to them and ask why they're there. That's the biggest difference. Besides the physiological effects and lack thereof when we're speaking of marijuana, the effects of alcohol are exorbitantly much worse. And this guy just getting drunk on our date made me feel less connected or even wanting to connect with him. That's where I'm at in my life right now. And I am by no means thinking that I'm not trying to martyr myself. You guys know I love wine. It's so fucking hard. I just want some wine. Shit. Sorry. Didn't mean to yell in your ear, but I fucking would love a rosé right now. But I'm committed. And I'm in. It's been a week. And I don't even drink that much. We're talking like a glass of wine at night, like a proper Italian. And to not have that really fucking sucks. And that's the downside. The upside is I'm much clearer. And maybe if I had been drinking, this guy and I would have a second date. But then I feel like we're not meeting on authentic terms. We're both coming into the scenario needing something in order to connect. Well, then, are you really connected? If there's something in the way? If there's something that's needed to unlock the part of you that is blocked? Sounds like you have a blockage. And so what I'm doing, instead of adding things onto my plate, is I'm unpacking my plate. I am locking up the cooch and unpacking the plate a little bit. So I didn't really feel like him and I deserved him and I needed a second date. And I'm also doing this thing where I'm not ghosting people. Not that I've ghosted people in the past, but I'm giving an explanation. And I'll read you guys what I sent to him. Is that weird? I think it could help. I think it could help other people learn how to be respectful and learn how to communicate. I said to this guy, I said, Jason, it was really... We don't have a last name. He knows who he is. It was really so fun to hang with you. I unfortunately don't feel a connection, but wish you the best on your dating journeys. Hey, I am growing and becoming a grown-ass woman. And a grown-ass woman, you don't have to give an explanation as to why you don't want to see somebody. You don't owe anybody anything. No one owes anybody anything. This idea of being owed something is ridiculous. But it's more for you. I truly believe the energy you put out is the energy you get back. It's the law of the universe. I'm only treating people the way I want to be treated. I have to set the precedent. So my precedent is we're not having casual sex. We're not getting wasted. And I want to communicate. Very fucking simple. So that's why I'm going out on dates during my year of celibacy, so that I can practice putting out to the universe and working and functioning from a place of that, so that I get it back. What you put out, you get back. So I am focusing on that. And, you know, it's challenging for sure going on these dates. I went on another date, a coffee date. See, I don't think we need to have a full fucking dinner either. We got to have an hour and a half meal. What if I find out that you're a serial killer? I probably wouldn't find out. Sounds like people really don't find that out until it's too late. But why don't we start off slow? Let's just get a cute little coffee. Just let me get a coffee. You know, I had never gone out on a coffee date, and I went on a coffee date with this dude. And he was really cute. He was very cute. He has hit me back, and maybe there'll be a second date. He was really adorable. It's so interesting how you evolve as a human being, because, and maybe it was the time of day, but he was like talking about sex, and for some reason it kind of turned me not off, but just made me go, already? I mean, it's 8:30 in the morning and we're not in a relationship. So my mind is aware to these different things, and my mind is awake to these different standards that I have for myself. And I honestly think it just comes from having more self-worth and loving myself more, and having my I feel like I'm more awake. And it's like, did I miss all this shit before? I feel like I missed all of the red flags. I feel like this shit's been happening for so long, and now I'm just like, take alcohol off the table and you're like, oh, everyone's fucking crazy. Dating is hard. Compatibility is real. And you gotta keep your head on a swivel, sis. You truly do. Truly, truly, truly do. You have to keep your head on a fucking swivel. And I'm still gonna go out on dates, though. I'm gonna go out on dates. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see how it unravels. Gonna keep my heart open, but my legs closed. And on Girl Code, I said the reverse. I'm growing. I am growing. So it's a challenging time, but I'm excited to see who gets to be my soulmate next. I will say there was this fella that I met at a show in the Pacific Northwest. Do you guys remember that? Did I tell you about this guy who I was for sure thought was my soulmate? This guy hugged me after the show, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's my soulmate. And then it made me think of this funny tweet. My toxic trait is me thinking I'm everyone's soulmate. Not me thinking I'm everyone's soulmate. Oh my God. But I found them. I found them on the World Wide Web. That's all I'm going to say. I can't say anymore. I will say the timing is kind of perfect, I think, for him and I. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Once you open your mind to possibilities being endless, then opportunities start to arise. It's all about how you look at things. And Brad Pitt is still on the table, is all I'm going to say. Okay? He's still on the table. I know he's in the news for some bad shit right now, for stuff that happened on a plane that none of us were on. I hope it's not true. God, I look like Forrest Whitaker right now. I'm just looking at myself in the camera and I have shroom face. My face looks different on shrooms. I am on a microdose. I think I told you that before. My face morphs. Maybe you guys see my face the same and I'm seeing it differently. But, a ruh-roh. So, reflections on my birthday weekend. We talked a little bit about the sound baths. I did sound baths a couple nights in a row. I do meditate every morning, so a sound bath is a form of meditation with quartz bowls, and sometimes they're metal bowls, sometimes they're bronze, sometimes they're quartz, and there's like a quartz stick. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it has a more official name. And it's really wonderful. If you can use Insight Timer to meditate, the app, if you check that out, you can find sound bowls and sound bath style meditations. They're so good for me. I love them. And, you know, the weekend wasn't about partying. I had 2 drinks all weekend, a whole bunch of shrooms. And I had a whole bunch of, you know, some Mary J, some Eddies. Eddie Bowl came to town. Rented an Airbnb for my friends. We talked about it a little bit last week, I believe, or the week before. And the reflection I really have on it was that I love the people I have in my life that are in my inner circle because they're better than me. They're so loving. They're so supportive. And I learn from them and they make me grow. And I'm so fortunate to have these amazing people who have become my LA family. Essentially, all of them have become my LA family besides my cousin Allie, who is my family. And what I learned was how much more rest I really need. You know, we kind of talked about us functioning at our base level, and our base level is way above where it should be because we're high functioning, anxious, success driven human beings in this wild culture and society. We're functioning from just a hyperactive level. And I really think that we've lost sight of where our true baseline is. And that's why so many of us burn out. So the more rest I take, the more I realize how much I need and the more I'm starting to take. And because of that, it's slowed me down. And I think it's starting to bring me to my authentic self. At least as a grown woman, it's bringing to my authentic self. And it's also made me feel more present and calmer. It's been amazing. Honestly, taking this past weekend or a couple weekends ago in Joshua Tree, taking the amazing medicine that psilocybin is and that cannabis can be and is, it really opened me up to how much more rest I need. And on the other side of that, how much creativity is unlocked and how much my relationships become richer because I'm more present, because I'm not pouring from an empty cup. And I wouldn't have come to those epiphanies or realization without psilocybin or without cannabis. That's why they're so invaluable as medicines for me. And they've literally helped me come to so many epiphanies about myself and unlock so much that was holding me back, unlock so much trauma, and become aware of how I occur. In this past birthday weekend was a real blessing. And it also made me realize just how important it is to have uncomfortable situations, especially with your friends and people who you love. It's important to go through that because you grow through that. And we always say to ourselves, oh, why am I going through this? Why do I have to go through this? You grow through what you go through, and you only grow through discomfort. And so the sound baths were uncomfortable for my cousin and for my friend Chris. And it was definitely a huge bonding experience for us because of that. It became a bonding ceremony. And that's the beautiful thing about doing things that sound, like something only hippies do, or sound like something you would totally never find yourself doing. If somebody mentions something that you go, I would never do that, you should do it. If you find yourself saying, I would never do this, I would never try this, that means you should. Because you're going to discover something about yourself. And it's going to be fucking amazing. The nevers unlock epiphanies. The nevers unlock truths and discoveries that you would not and will not discover while you're cozy. There's nothing there's no way to grow from a cozy place. You chill and it's useful. It's definitely a useful thing to be cozy and calm and to rest. But you're not growing. You're relaxing. You're healing. And when you're in these uncomfortable scenarios with your friends, it bonds you in a way that is unspeakable. It bonds you in a way that words fall short to describe. It's like a spiritual bonding. And I called the weekend my soul integration with my friends and my family because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to integrate with them, put us in a couple different uncomfortable situations with a couple heart-opening medicines and mind-altering medicines that help you open up parts of you that are usually locked all day long, subconsciously and consciously. And it was truly magical. It really, really was magical. And it was such a dichotomy from how I used to celebrate my birthday. I used to fucking rage, bro. A fucking party. Oh, we got a fucking party, bro? Hell yeah. We're gonna rock so hard. We are gonna rock so hard, bro. Fucking wouldn't remember the night. That's how I used to celebrate my birthday. Not remembering. There's birthdays that are a blur. Blurthdays is what we should call them. Birthdays in your 20s are blurthdays because you don't remember shit. And now I want to remember. I want to make memories, not have to have like a court stenographer tell me what the fuck I did the night before. So that's what that whole weekend was about. And that's, a sign of me growing and also a sign of a part of me dying. That's what it kind of felt like. I told you I was going to tell you about the piñata. I have to get this piñata so you can see what I was talking about. If you saw my Instagram story, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm in my hippie pants. So on my Instagram story, I posted a video from my soul integration weekend of a head floating from a tree. My dear friend Jackie had a piñata made of my face. Well, this is not exactly my face. It is inspired by my face that I made when I was doing filming of my special, the test filming of my special for Netflix. I had a crazy face, and then looked like a blow-up doll, so I posted a picture of my face in the blow-up doll. So my friend Jackie had a piñata made of the blow-up doll face and stuffed it filled with drugs. It was the greatest gift anyone's ever given me, besides life. Besides my mother giving me life, this is the second best, greatest gift anyone's ever given me. So it became significant and symbolic because I do feel like a part of me has died. I feel like something has, like I've come out of a chrysalis, you know, kind of like a butterfly or a moth, any sort of cocoon. And it's not even that it's, yeah, I guess it is like a cocoon. Because I think I've had a tough exterior for so long. I've had a shell around my authentic self. And a lot of that was because I was functioning from a survival mode and a survival mentality. And now that I'm feeling freer and that I'm accessing my heart space more and being more vulnerable and accessing my femininity more, the quieter side of myself, and saving the loud, wild, rambunctious self for stage, I am finding that it feels like a death. It feels like a part of me has died. And it's a really beautiful thing. And I think, you know, we call it growing pains. It's a form of growing pains. And there's a little nostalgia that is intertwined in that. There is a little bit of sadness because it means I'm becoming a person that my parents will not meet because they're gone. They're dead. I don't know if you guys know that. I have to say that every time. It makes me feel a little vulnerable and sad in that sense that my parents aren't going to meet this version of me, but I wouldn't have become this version without them passing. It's sort of, it is what it is type of situation where this is what it's evolved to and you have to deal with it. And the way I'm dealing with it is I'm responding to the flow. I am flowing into this portion of myself. I am flowing at the same time I'm being pulled. And everything in the universe and life is telling me to slow down. Everything in the universe and life is telling me to literally stop and smell the roses. And I'm responding that way. And I'm being pulled towards situations, people, and scenarios that yield that sort of experience and that energy and that vibe. So it's interesting. It's interesting to feel like a part of me has died and that it's a good thing. I think we're so afraid of growth. I think we're afraid of change. I think, for one, it requires a lot of work. You know, we refer to it as shadow work or therapy or trauma healing, whatever you want to call it, however you want to refer to it. It requires a lot of work to get on the other side of the facade that you've built to survive the situations that you had to survive. Speaking for myself and probably a lot of people that are listening to this right now, that little frog in the throat just comes out at the worst times. Here I am trying to have like a real moment. It's like, sorry if you can hear that. But it is a painful process. Growth is a painful process. And I think I've said this on the podcast. I know my friend Chris and I say that it's also self-evolving, and self-evolution can be very lonely because it requires you to go in. A lot of the times it requires you to be alone. And on the other side of your growth, you lose people who aren't willing or can't meet you where you are. And sometimes you lose people and they come back in your life. We all have had that situation, but it's really important to not lose yourself trying to keep someone else in your life, especially when you're on your own path to healing. So I'm very selfish right now in that sense. I am not willing to put up with anyone else's bullshit if it fucks up my flow. Because I'm on the flow up. It's not even a glow up. I'm on the flow up. I got to burp. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. I did not mean to burp in a pivotal conversation, a pivotal moment. I think it's important for you to not be afraid of growing. It's important for you to recognize that parts of you will die all the time. Literally, from a cellular level, our cells are dying all the time. We're not even the same body that we had when we were a child. So it is natural for us to experience death on ourselves regularly. And I think we forget sometimes that it happens spiritually for us as well. And it's not that it is easier when you are doing meditation or sound baths or eating clean. It's just that it's a healthier process when you start to incorporate all of these routines in on your path of evolution. And having a non-blowout weekend was one of them for me. Me not drinking for a month is another one. I am on the path of healing myself, and I honestly, it feels like a fucking roller coaster I can't get off of now. I'm almost addicted to the healing process because it feels so good. But it's only feeling good on the other side of extreme pain. It's extremely painful, and it only feels good after an extreme amount of pain. It only feels good after you have peeled parts of yourself off. Like, it literally is like peeling flesh off of flesh. Emotional evolution is, I think, some of the most painful experiences I've had in my life. Even including grief. Grief is a different type of pain. But facing yourself, facing your demons, facing your shortcomings and your flaws and your failures and your insecurities and your fears, facing how you've occurred, that is fucking painful. But it's also vital for you to face that shit. Because no one can face it for you. It's so cliche to say, but it's a truth. No one can face your fears. No one can face your insecurities. No one can face your vulnerabilities but you. And the only way for you to grow or to get any sort of semblance of control over your life is to do that. And there goes that throat noise again. The microphone's too good. It's literally picking up conversations in my esophagus, like way down in there. It's like two little teeny creatures talking in the back of my throat. It sounds like they're cheersing. It sounds like two frothy beers between like mitochondria, just teeny little cheers that microscopic cells are having at happy hour underneath my uvula. Is that what you call that thing in the back of the throat? I gotta look it up. Let's Google it together. What's that flappy thing in your throat? I don't think it's a uvula. I think that's a totally different body part. I'm not a doctor. Your uvula is a fleshy piece of tissue that hangs from the roof of your mouth. Oh my God, I got it right. God bless us. Well, it sounds like there's teeny little microscopic cells having a martini near my uvula right now. I want to see if we have any phone calls. Let's see if we have a couple phone calls before we leave each other. I feel like I might have a couple voicemails left here. Here we go. Let's see what we got.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Brian Avila Mendez, and I'm watching the show from Netflix, Tattoo Rito. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm watching it, and I love it. I feel like you have something really amazing, and it's really new and with great artists, and I would love to be on the show. I would love to bring my friend. to cover up a tattoo that she's been wanting to cover up, but she hasn't. So I think it would be really great to do so. My friend is amazing, and we are not shy. We pretty much have a great energy, so I would love to be in the show. Thank you.
Oh, so this dude's just interviewing to be on my show that didn't get a second season. Thank you. David was your name? Brian Mendez. Lo siento, amigo. No second season. He's talking about, I love that he said tattoo. Tattoo redo. Tattoo redo will not be renewed, but we had a great time. Season 1 is available on Netflix, and good luck to your girl. So many of us have shitty tattoos. Tell her to save her money and get that shit lasered off.
Hi, Jessimae. My name is Sarah. I was told to call you and leave you a message by my husband, Christopher, because he absolutely adores you. Not husband, right? So this is me calling you, and he really wants me to do an accent. So, one, I think you're fucking amazing. I love all the things that you do. I can't get enough of you. And I can't wait to hear your new podcast. So I just wanted to give you a holler and see how things are going. Hopefully I get to hear this on your podcast. So who knows? I can't wait to fucking hear from you. All right. Text later. Anyway, fucking talk to you later.
Wow. I don't know what accent that was. It was like a drunk person from Dorchester. It sounded like a drunk leprechaun in Dorchester. That was amazing. I appreciate you, Sarah and Todd. Thanks for giving us a call and saying hello. And it felt like another audition. I think you guys are thinking I can get you into Hollywood. That's not how it works. One more.
The hell? Did she fart? What? Hey, oh man, I'm so glad nobody answered. I probably would have hung right up. Just want to know what it's like to do mushrooms. I think you'd be the one to tell me. I listened to like 4 of your episodes, and unfortunately, you're a little bit older for me. Well, no. My last girlfriend was 40 with 3 kids, and it lasted 2 years. You shouldn't have done it. That's stupid. Anyways, what's it like to do mushrooms? I'm single now. I'm kind of by myself. I feel like now would be the time to try it. I moved out here on our business accountant's farm, and it's behind this big old racetrack. But other than that, it's dark, quiet, big old open space. I got all my wood and shit for projects. I'll probably build myself a box and hide in there or something. I don't know. As long as the neighbors, they're pretty far away, but I'm not trying to run into anybody on mushrooms or weed. I kind of love what you're saying there, but yeah, let me know what it's like. Kind of give me a heads up, because your boy's scared to do it. And I feel like I'm going to be out in this cornfield. Oh, man, I just need to know. I feel like you do it every day. So, give your boy some answers. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Oh, my God. What's it like to do mushrooms? However you sounded is what it's like to do mushrooms. You sounded like you were leaving a voicemail but thought you were having a conversation with somebody. It felt like you were having a conversation that was just one-sided, but you were also waiting for somebody to respond. That was amazing. And mushrooms is different for everybody. It's a very personal experience. I'm a microdoser, so my experience is very specific to me, and it would be very specific to you. And you might be out in a fucking cornfield. You might face some demons. But everyone that I've spoken to, all my friends and people who I love who have had many different situations and experiences with ayahuasca, DMT, MDMA, and the LSDs and all those sort of classic psychedelics have all said that even through the challenging experiences that they've had, they have gained perspective for themselves. So maybe you are going to want to be in a cornfield because that's a perspective that you need to gain. And, you know, a lot of these drugs are reflective. They're mirrors. Medicines, sorry, I don't want to say drugs. They're mirrors to what's going on in your psyche already. And it's a great way to meet yourself. But like we said before, with these medicines, you can meet yourself at a certain place. And the beautiful part is you can leave parts of yourself that no longer serve you right where you met them. And I think we need to practice doing that more so that we can show up and live a beautiful life. Even though life, like I have said, is brutal. But the brutal parts, the brutal times and the brutal experiences are the ones for me that have given me the greatest gifts of my life. Whether it be someone who reached out and helped me, or an epiphany, or some connection I made through the most difficult time in my life. It has forged bonds that will be eternal for me. So, anywho, I hope you guys had, I hope you gained something from this episode, and I hope you had a great week, and I really appreciate you listening. And if you can leave a review, review the podcast, that would be awesome. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to go make some spaghetti and meatballs.